95% of the time, a woman will test you by the second date or sooner, sometimes within the first 5 minutes, to see, 1, if you'll take her bullshit. 2, how hungry you are for her attention. Remember, those who look hungry never get fed. And 3, just how much control she can exert over you or the relationship. This is why you'll notice a woman who 1 minute she's laughing at your jokes, she's touching you all flirty, talking like there's a future between you, and the next minute she's pulling back, she's going cold, or throwing out some random little jab, and you're sitting there wondering, what did I do wrong? Did I say something? Should I text her again? Should I apologize? What is happening right now? Here's what's happening. You failed a test that you didn't even realize you were taking. In this video, I'm gonna talk about the 7 most common tests that a woman's gonna give you and how you can spot them and pass them every single time. Believe me, this is important. If you've ever been dumped for being too nice, or you've been told time and time again, let's just be friends, it's because you haven't learned to recognize when you're being tested, or you haven't learned to properly respond to these tests. Hi, I'm Bobby Rio, and these tests, especially the 7 we're gonna cover in this video, they're gonna happen whether you're on a first date with her or you've been dating her for years, even married to her sometimes. This is something that I go deeper into in my book, The Invisible Game, which you can grab a copy on Amazon.com, or you can get it through my page where you get exclusive bonuses. I'll put a link to that below. But in this video, I wanna break down the tests, 7 of them, like I said, that you absolutely must be ready for. Starting with this one right here. And this one I call the jab test. So this is the little jab test, and this is where she gives you a right hook to the jaw, figuratively, of course, not literally, but this one. It's where she looks at you and says something like, wow, are you always this cocky? Or she tilts her head and goes, that shirt's interesting. Most guys, when a woman that they're into says something like that, they immediately crumble. They start explaining themselves like a kid caught with weed in his backpack. Oh no, I'm not cocky, I have a good sense of humor, and this shirt was a gift. It's from my aunt, and it's, bro, stop. She's not looking for an explanation. What she's seeing is whether or not you flinch. Because here's the thing, if a simple little jab like that rattles you, she knows that you're not the guy who can handle her at her worst. And deep down, she wants to feel like you can. She also knows very quickly when you react to her like that, she's in control. She's dominating the frame, right? And no woman wants to be with a guy that she can easily dominate. So the question is, how do you pass the jab test? First off, you don't defend, you don't explain, you don't fold. You simply laugh it off. You tease her back. You show her that you're unshaken. So she says something like, are you always this cocky? You just smirk and go, yeah, it's exhausting, but somebody's got to do it. Or she says, that shirt's interesting. You shrug and say, yeah, I wore it just to mess with you. You've passed. You haven't reacted. She didn't see that she can control you or throw you off. And she feels that immediately. Okay, this guy's solid. He's not dancing for my approval. All right, let's get into test number 2, which I call the delay test. So the delay test is a classic, and it's probably ruined more blossoming relationships than anything else. And this is where she takes hours, sometimes days to text you back, or she cancels last minute, or she shows up late. And what happens when she does this? Most guys, they completely spiral. They're pacing around. Oh my God, she hates me. What did I do wrong? Is she seeing another guy? Is this because I used the wrong emoji this morning? But really, this is her internal wiring. She's checking very clear. Does this guy's entire world collapse just because I didn't jump when he whistled? Because if your whole mood swings on how fast she texts you back, she knows she's in control. And when a woman knows that she's in control, that she's holding the power, that she has the upper hand, she loses interest very quickly and it's game over. So how do you pass this one? Simple. You stay fucking cool, right? Sounds easy, but listen, I get it. I've seen guys implode over this. She doesn't text back for 6 hours and suddenly he's triple texting like his thumbs are possessed. She cancels plans and he's offering to drive across town at midnight just to drop by and say hi. No, just stay cool. You don't punish her. You don't beg, you don't explain. You just show her by your actions that your time is valuable. She cancels, you reply, okay, I'll make other plans. Your mood doesn't hinge on how fast she replies, because the second she feels like she can jerk your emotions around like a light switch that she can just flip on and off, attraction dies. But if you can sit in that silence unfazed, she starts thinking, wait, why isn't this guy chasing? Did I misread him? Is he seeing somebody else? That's the moment the power shifts. And part of it is because you're displaying something very critical. You're displaying that, sure, you like her. Sure, you even want her. But you're not going to chase her. You're okay with her going cold. You've got other things going on. She's not the center of your world. And she needs to know that. And again, all of these tests are not her going, it's time to do the delay test. She's not consciously thinking it. But women have this inborn DNA that they need to know who's in control here, who has the power, right? And these tests are her way of finding out. She's not going to ask you, and if she did, she knows you're just going to lie, so she's going to test you with these little moves that reveal your true character. So what is the next one? The next one I call the competition test. And it really can sting if you're not ready for it. And this is where she drops another guy into the conversation. The date's going good, you think you guys are hitting it off, and all of a sudden she goes, my ex used to take me here. Or, this guy at work is so funny. And what do most guys do? They panic. They're suddenly in like the Hunger Games of attraction, competing for her interest, her attention, and her approval. Wait, let me prove that I can be funny too, and I can take you to even better places. Pick me, right? And this is, she notices when your vibe changes, and all of a sudden, you're trying to be more impressive than that guy. Women are not stupid. Women are very socially intelligent, and they pick up on that subtle shift of you all of a sudden trying to weave things in to compete with this other person. And that's what she wanted to see, not because she cares about this other guy, but because she wants to know, are you solid? Do you believe that you're better than that guy? Because if you do, you're not worried about him. But if you don't, if you just crumble at the idea of competition, you must not be that high value of a guy. So how do you pass this one? How do you pass the competition test? You stay amused, you stay unfazed. Like she just mentioned, her cat has a hairball problem, right? It doesn't affect you. You don't defend, you don't compete, you don't go into a sales pitch. If anything, you flip it back on her. Wow, you bring up your ex a lot. Should I be worried? Like with a smirk, not serious, right? You're not like, should I be worried about this guy? You're like making it like she's, wow, you bring up your ex a lot. That's weird. Make her qualify why she's even bringing it up, because the truth is, she doesn't want you battling over other guys for her. She wants to feel like she's the one auditioning for you. This is something, personally, one of the things that I happen to just luck into is that I've just always not taken that bait. And women have always tried to make me jealous, and it's one of the things that I just was instinctively got. And trust me, there's a lot, most of it I didn't get instinctively. This I just understood, yeah, like I'm not gonna get jealous. And it drives them crazy when they see that you just rolls off you. So just let it roll off you, because if she's bringing it up, don't be worried about it. If she's not bringing it up, right, it's when you catch her in lies, it's when she's being vague and weird and all of that. That's when maybe the other guy actually is competition. But when she's throwing it out there, she's really doing it to see how you react, and don't give her what she's looking for. So let's talk about the next one. I call this one the hot and cold test. So this one will mess with your head if you don't know what's happening. And trust me, I coach guys, I see guys in the Untamed Man community of mine, and this is probably the thing that drives guys more crazy than anything else. And this is where 1 minute she's like laughing and leaning and touchy and just totally into everything you're saying. I call that hot. The next minute, she's like colder than an ex-wife in divorce court. Now, most guys take the bait, right? She pulls back and suddenly they're scrambling. Wait, what did I do wrong? Are you okay? Did I do something? And their entire energy is essentially saying, please don't leave me, please. Like I can't handle you not giving me all your attention all the time. But here's the reality. She's not trying to torture you. She's just watching. Do you lose your frame the second she changes her temperature? And women change their temperature all the time. It's one of those things in dating that you have to understand, that a woman's mood is not stable. So her interest levels very often come and go, and ours do too. In the early stages of most of my long-term relationships, there was always points where I was like, do I like her? And I get hot and I get cold. And it's actually a good thing, right? Because it's you making up your mind about somebody. And you don't really want somebody who's sold on you instantly. And that's one of the big problems nice guys have, is they're sold on the woman instantly. Their attention is always 100% there. They never pull back their attention, which tells her, I've got this guy. And as I always say, once a woman knows she has you, it's over and you're not gonna have her. Now, I used to fail this test all the time, where I'd be on a date and things are going great, and all of a sudden she'd go quiet, right? And I'm there sweating, overcompensating. I'm talking faster, throwing out fun facts about friggin' malfunctioning Alexa. Meanwhile, she's just sitting back thinking, cool, now I know exactly how easily I can throw this guy off. So how do you pass the hot and cold test? You just match the vibe without chasing. If she's warm and flirty, great, enjoy it. If she suddenly goes cold, just stay fucking cool. You don't have to fill the silence, or you don't have to start juggling fire to keep her entertained. And here's the pro move. When you decide the energy's gotten flat, instead of trying to talk about it or ask about it, just lead it back. And this in long-term relationships, this is really key. What do I mean by that? If you're hanging out and she gets quiet, instead of getting all panicky, just go, yeah, the vibe is kind of lame. Just change the topic, move locations, tell a story, tell a joke, not in a way of entertaining her, but in a way of entertaining yourself. Because she's really watching you. And if she sees that you can have fun with you, whether or not she's playing along, that's attractive, right? Because now you're the one steering the vibe. The whole test boils down to this. If her temperature changes, do you panic? Or do you stay solid cute, but I'm good either way? And here's the thing about this hot and cold test. It's just one move in a much bigger game, because women don't just throw tests. They run an entire invisible game on you, a game where your reactions, your frame, even the tiny things you say or you don't say decide whether she sees you as a guy that she chases or a guy that she quickly forgets. Now, most men never realize that this is happening. They think it's just bad luck, or she wasn't into me, or she only likes tall guys. Meanwhile, they were failing tests and giving away the whole power, their entire power, showing her, like we talked about, she's in control. She can make you flinch. That's why I wrote my book, The Invisible Game, and tests are just one chapter. Inside, I break down the whole system that women use and how you can flip it so you're the one in control. So if you've ever felt like you were playing checkers while she was playing chess, this book shows you the hidden rules. There's a link, like I said, in the description, but let's move into the fifth test, and this is what I call the drama test. So the drama test is when, out of nowhere, she's moody and she throws a little attitude, maybe pokes at you with something snappy. And again, most guys, they take the bait. They either snap back and get in full debate mode about nothing, right? Or they bend over backwards trying to fix it, and suddenly they're like a customer service rep. Was it something I said? Can I get you a drink? Do you want me to rub your feet? No. All she's thinking now is, wow, if this guy gets rattled by a little attitude from me, how's he gonna handle me in the real world? Because here's the truth, again, she's not looking for you to solve her mood. She's testing your frame. She's testing if you're solid. She wants to know, if I stir the pot a little bit, does this guy spill everywhere? And this is one of the ones that come up a lot in relationships, especially marriages. And a lot of guys don't realize that a woman may come into the kitchen, right? And she might say something like, you never do the dishes, or you always leave your stuff around. And it triggers something in us, and we're like, now we're like in court going, what are you talking about? Tuesday, you left your dishes there, and I cleaned them up, right? And it's like, you're not gonna win that argument. One of the things I always say is never try to change a woman's mind, never try to present your case, just change her mood. And when a woman's giving you drama, the idea is not to fight against it, it's to just change her out of it, lead her out of it. How do you do it? First off, like I said, you refuse to get dragged into the storm. And listen, I get it. When a woman is like throwing that drama at you, it's very easy to get sucked into it. But you have to practice. It's a skill that you have to build where you go, okay, she's a woman. Women are these just fucking insanely emotional creatures. And whatever her drama is, it's really not the true thing. Whatever she's coming at me with, right? It's not what she's actually bothered by. There's some mood going on in her that's causing her to throw this drama out there. And I have two choices here. I can react to it, get sucked into it, and she's probably gonna lose a little bit of attraction, or I can stay cool, shrug it off, and redirect the vibe. Or if she keeps pushing, right? If she keeps bringing this drama, just pull back and walk away entirely, because nothing flips the script faster than a man who can't be baited. When she sees that, like, you're not gonna get baited into her bullshit, and when you don't snap, you don't sulk, you don't start graveling, you're really just silently telling her, like, I'm solid, your mood doesn't control me, and if you keep bringing this drama, like, you're gonna lose me and I'm just gonna walk away. Now, you don't say it, your whole attitude shows it, and that, to a woman, is sexy. So the next one I call the qualification test. So the qualification test, and this one's sneaky. She'll ask something like, so do you always talk to girls like this? Or what kind of girls do you usually date? And most guys, they treat it like a job interview. And they start rattling off their resume, like, I'm not looking for something serious, and I'm very loyal, I respect women, I once helped an old lady cross the street. It's like, bro, stop. That's not what she's looking for. She doesn't want your PowerPoint presentation on why you're a good guy. She's testing if you have standards, because here's the secret. The guy who makes her chase a little bit, who makes her prove that she's good enough for him, that's the guy she can't stop thinking about. So how do you pass this test? And this test shows up in a lot of different ways, right? One, she asks you what you're looking for in a relationship. Maybe she asks you a question like, what's interesting about you? She's getting to see if you're gonna qualify like a candidate trying to win the job. So how do you pass? You flip the script, you turn it playful, you don't take it seriously. So if she says to you, what kind of girls do you usually date? You just smirk and go, ones that can keep up. Or if she says, do you always flirt this much? You just laugh and go, only with troublemakers like you. You see the difference? You're not defending yourself. You're not saying, no, I like honest women and I like this, and no, I'm usually not into flirting with girls, but you're different. Like, no, don't. One of the things with women you have to understand is you just never want to go to that logical level. A way to look at it is, and a way to even keep playful, and one of the things that my answers and how you pass those tests conveyed is that instead of auditioning for her, you're making her audition for you. You're not saying, please pick me. You're saying, show me why I should pick you. Now, I talk about in other videos of mine, and you can find them on my channel, where you actually want to be doing these to women. You want to be qualifying them. What's so interesting about you? Tell me something adventurous you've done. You're screening her. But if you're in the one being screened, then she knows she's in control. And again, this one shift puts you in the driver's seat. So the next test is the boundary test. So the boundary test is where she pushes just a little bit. She asks for a big favor when you barely know her. She shows up 45 minutes late like it's no big deal. Or she ignores something you clearly said matters to you. Most guys, they fold like a cheap lawn chair. Why? Because they don't want to ruin it. They think that if I just go along, she'll like me more. If I smile, and I use the term in other videos, you can watch my 7 ways to outsmart a woman playing games, and I go into this a lot where I talk about how very often when we like a girl, we actually reward bad behavior, which makes her do it more. So when she cancels on us and you write something like, no worries, or if she like uses, I'm sick tonight, and she's lying, and you go, feel better, honey, I'll bring you some chicken soup. Like when you do that, you're training her like, oh, I can disrespect your time and you're gonna treat me better. And when you do that, she loses all respect for you. And what she actually sees when you don't hold a boundary is, I can walk all over this guy. And once she knows that, it's like game over. How do you pass the boundary test? You hold the line and you do it very calmly, not with drama, not with lectures, not with a 4-paragraph text. You don't turn into one of those guys, or I'm exerting my boundaries right now and I need a woman who respects me. You don't do any of that. You just act. If she just disrespects your time, you don't chase to reschedule. If she shows up 45 minutes late and didn't text you, you don't give her a long lecture about why your time is valuable. You just send her a message like, hey, I'm out of here, maybe next time. And she realizes, oh shit, this guy is not a little puppy dog that's gonna sit there waiting for me. If she tries to rope you into some big favor, you just smile and go, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Like you don't have to explain why. If she pushes past your boundaries, you just step back and then let her feel the difference. And now it's not trying to be harsh. This is not the point. It's to show her without saying a word that you respect yourself. And here's the truth. If you don't respect yourself, she never will either. So if you look at these 7 tests, they really are just the tip of the iceberg. Because here's the thing that most guys never realize. A woman isn't consciously thinking, okay, now I'm gonna run the delay test. Now I'm gonna run the drama test. This stuff is baked into her wiring. It's automatic. And one of the things that I've noticed, not just in my own life, but having coached guys now for over 15 years, is that when you're not solid, when a woman kind of sniffs a little bit of neediness, when a woman sniffs like, this guy's a little insecure right now, she's gonna double up on the testing you. So when she notices that like something's a little not confident about this guy, or all of a sudden she's gonna be testing you much more. It's automatic, it's instinctual, and it's happening all the time. Sometimes it's obvious, like when she jabs you with that sarcastic comment and tells you, I don't know why guys have beards suck, or why do guys wear baseball hats, right? And you're wearing a baseball hat and parties. And you realize, once you've studied this, you realize, all right, this is a test. Those are the obvious ones. Sometimes it's subtle, when she goes cold for a day to see if you'll chase, and you're not sure what's going on here. And most guys, they fail them without even knowing that they're being tested. They get defensive, they over-explain, they chase harder, they let her walk all over their standards, and they don't even like show her that anything is wrong. Like again, they reward her for it sometimes. And every time you do, attraction dies. But here's the flip side. When you pass these tests, when you stay calm when she jabs you and she goes, I don't like guys who have beards, or she says, why do guys always wear hats? I don't like baseball hats, they're corny. And you don't defend yourself, instead you just go, oh, thanks for the fashion advice. When you don't spiral over her text delays, when you laugh off, when she brings up an ex-boyfriend or some other guy and you're like you laugh it off, like interesting choice of conversation, that's when everything changes, because she now feels something that most women never feel around a guy, and that's she feels your masculine frame. She feels safe, she feels turned on and intrigued all at the same time. And that's the foundation of what I call the invisible game. It's the game happening under the surface. Every time you talk to a woman, text a woman, go on a date, even live with her, there is a game going on. And this is because women are what I call meaning makers. They're always looking for the meaning behind what's really going on. So when she cancels plans last minute, or when she takes a jab at you, what she's looking for when you respond by apologizing, or you respond, no worries, smiley face, we can catch up anytime, the meaning she gets is, this guy must not have a lot going on in his life if he's like waiting around for me and he's immediately rescheduling and his calendar is always open, right? If she jabs you and you're like me, when a girl once at a bar told me like I was wearing sneakers, and she said, guys who wear sneakers to bars is just so lame, or something like that. And instead of going, nice, thanks for the advice, I came from the gym and I was like, and when the meaning that told her was, I really need her approval, which means she has the power, which means she's not gonna be attracted to me. Once you understand this dynamic and once you start seeing it and not falling into the trap, you stop being the guy who's confused and chasing and overthinking and become the guy that women test, you pass, and then they chase. And that's really what my book, The Invisible Game, is about. It's about breaking down the hidden dynamics, not just the tests, the entire realm of dynamics between men and women, and how to flip the whole script so that she's investing in you instead of you auditioning for her. And more importantly, it shows you the pyramid of power, how to build this masculine frame so that it's your natural reaction. You don't need her approval. You don't feel the desire to qualify yourself or try to impress her. If you've ever felt like you were doing everything right, but still kept winding up as the nice guy or the friend or the backup plan, this book is likely going to open up your eyes. If you're ready to stop failing these invisible tests and start passing them, grab your copy of The Invisible Game. The link's in the description, because the truth is women will not stop testing you. But once you master this, you're not going to fear their tests. You're actually going to look forward to them as an opportunity to increase their attraction to you. Now, if you found this video helpful, hit the like button so other people find it as well. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment below and let me know what your biggest insight was.